Hey guys, it's Ash here, and I am coming to do the promised video on giving some tips and tricks for juniors and seniors that are in undergrad and want to know, or anyone that's even graduated, want to know what to do with a biology degree. So, as y'all know, I have a biology degree. I will make a separate video on my story and how I even got here, because being a scientist was not my plan. But you know, life happens. Noah happens. Say no, hey Noah.
Hey.
Noah happens, and then I also have an older son named Makai, who's 8, and Noah is, how old are you, Noah?
5.
5. So I did want to come and give you guys just some tips and tricks that I've learned. I've also asked some coworkers, you know, some tips and tricks on what they would input on how to basically become a successful scientist. So again, I am not where I want to be yet, but I will say that I am pretty successful on how fast I've grown my salary within a few years of having industry experience. All right, so I did make a little checkbook or a little checklist, and so I'm just going to go through it and we're going to talk about it. So basically, the first thing you want to do, so if you're starting off as a biology major, you don't really have to have a minor. You could minor in chemistry, that'll help you, might not, just depends on what kind of job you're going for. But basically, while you're in your junior and senior year, you want to do internships. You want to do internships, you want to volunteer at different labs or different companies, shadow different scientists or things of that sort. And when you're in school, for the internships are normally juniors and seniors is when you can do an internship. Most are unpaid, but you might get lucky and find a paid one. And then for the volunteer and the shadowing, you can do that in the weekend or anytime around that, around your classes or something. You can go 2 or 3 nights or 2 or 3 hours a day or
Right there.
8 hours a week. Go ahead, Noah. Because you're being too loud. I'm making my video. Go play your game, okay? Thank you. And also, so the main thing that I did was I did lab work. So a lot of colleges have what you call work study. So that's basically you're working to pay your tuition. You could do that, and that still counts as experience. What I did was I worked with a professor who had a grant. So I basically, just kind of shot some emails and was like, hey, is there a professor that's working on grants that might need help in the lab? Even if it's setting up the lab, prepping their cells, harvesting their cells, whatever, it's considered experience outside of your academia book work. So basically, you just want to find any type of way that you can get experience that you can use on your resume, because your resume is selling you before you get to the interview. So you basically just need resume builders. So, I mean, even like I said, setting up labs, testing out equipment, managing equipment. So, a lot of people are going to be using mass specs. They're going to be using incubators, anything like that. If you just ask if you can manage the equipment, because most companies these days, if you work in like a biotech company or something, they're going to have liquid handlers. And those need to be managed. So if you can put on your resume that you are comfortable with those equipments, that you managed them, that you validated them, that you've done QC on them, that is a strong resume builder, okay? So that's also something that you want to do. You also want to, in your junior and senior year, you kind of need to narrow down what niche you want to work on in your degree. Or in your major. So basically what I mean by that is, do you want to do more bio? Do you want to do microbiology? So basically you want to basically narrow in, so you would find lab work for just microbiology, and then eventually you'll apply to those jobs for microbiology jobs. So then if you decide to go to graduate school, you'll get a PhD in microbiology or molecular biology or whatever of that sort. You're basically starting out broad, and you're basically bottlenecking in and zooming into what you want your degree to be, or what you want your career to be. So I talked about the strong resume builder. So that's basically what I did. So on your resume, I might make a separate video for resume, but anyway, for your resume, you want to list out your technical skills. And a lot of times for different jobs, you're going to have to change. What I did was, depending on the job that I was applying for, I would change certain technical skills. So if they're asking for a person who has aseptic technique, a person who's done cell culture, or anything like that, I'm going to delete out HPLC. They didn't ask for that. Or I'm going to delete out, things that they didn't ask for, and I'm going to basically highlight what they're asking for in that job description. So basically, because a lot of companies right these days use a scanner that scans the keywords, and resumes that don't have that keyword that matches that job description, they're going to get tossed. So that's why you need to go in and kind of highlight whatever it is that they're asking for the job description. You also want to summarize what you did at each job. So when you're first graduating from college, you're not going to have a job. But when you work in the lab, that is your job. You're going to use that and you're going to sell it. You're going to run full force with it, okay? I want you to break it down. Like, don't just say I harvested sales. No, you need to say what type of sales there were under a hood, right? What type of lab was it? Was it BSL 2-3? You're going to get very technical with it because you're applying for a scientific job. So you don't just want to say worked in a lab, cleaned bench tops. No. You don't have to get too technical by saying cleaned bench tops with 70% ethanol either. You don't need to get that technical. But so you wouldn't say clean desktops. You would say use decontamination techniques, right? So that's letting them know that you're comfortable with decontamination and you know the steps on how to decontaminate. So that's the type of stuff that you want to do. You want to summarize each thing that you did in undergrad. So again, if you can find work study or setting up labs or something, that's going to be your job description, okay? So the main thing, so when you're applying for those jobs, let's say you got the resume, you got all of that, coming right out of school, you're not going to make a lot of money. I did. I had to take a low-paying job, but I knew experience was the motivation because in our field, you need experience, and they ain't gonna hire you unless you have experience in order to get that experience, right? So I took a low-paying job. All I needed was experience, and I ran with it. I took a job that was through a tip agency that was only paying $13 an hour, and for me, I had a job before that paying more than that, but I knew it was a sacrifice because I knew I wanted to get out of what I was doing before and get into the lab, and I knew that I needed some stronger experience. So I took that job and basically ran with it. And so that's basically what you're going to have to do. Lab assistant, quality control assistant, what is the other one? Sample management, that type of stuff is the type of jobs that you're just going to have to buckle down and take to get your experience. While you're in those jobs or even outside of those jobs, you want to network. You want to meet people inside of those jobs so you can have strong references. What I did was I became very cordial with people who were in higher positions. So maybe a lab director or maybe your supervisor, anything like that. So when it's time to apply for another job and they call back, you have strong references. Or when, if a job asks you for references, you have references that's in high positions, right? It's all about networking. It's not what you know, it's who you know. I don't give a damn what it is. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Another thing is, so on Facebook, use social media these days. I didn't have this when I was starting out, but now they have networking jobs or networking groups. So you can find networking groups, you can find networking women of such and such, you can find all types of groups, and just kind of biotech women groups or women in biotech groups, and just kind of scan the area and then maybe put in, hey, I'm in this area. Do y'all know of anything? Because a lot of times in these groups, they're posting internal job openings that hasn't even hit Indeed or any of that yet. So that's what you need to do. Find those networking groups. You might have to even relocate to a scientific area. So that's what I did. Once I got my experience, I knew that I would make more money and get more work history and stronger work experience if I move to a scientific area. So I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's not really scientific. That's more financial and banking. So I moved to Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, which is in Raleigh, Durham. So I knew if I moved there, it's every freaking biotech you can think of. It's every freaking pharma company you can think of. It's every damn computer company, technical company that you can think of. So I knew if I came here, the market would be better. Jobs would be more easier to find because it's plentiful, right? So that's what I did. I just took the sacrifice and I just jumped up in 8 days. I moved sight unseen. That's a whole nother story. So yeah, that's basically what I did. And now, the job I'm at now is not the job I took when I moved here. But I made sure that the job that I did take was making more than what I was making in Charlotte. So I've leveled up by the grace of God each time. And so basically those are, let's see if I forgot anything. Oh, while you're working in a job, ask to cross-train in other areas of the job. So if you're working in radiation room, you know, there might be a mass spec room that you're like, hey, you know, can I cross train over there? Do y'all need any help over there? When I was working at one job, I ran jails for the other job. That wasn't even what I was there to, that wasn't even in my job description. But I learned to run jails for them. So now, hey, that's something I can put on my resume. I know how to run jails. HPLC, y'all know I hate chemistry. I know how to do HPLC techniques. So, you know, and that's because I cross-trained. You know, just even if you have 2 or 3 hours out the day, you have a slow day, things of that sort, just basically so you can have resume builders. Again, it's all about experience. It's all about your resume. It's all about making that resume speak for yourself until you can get in the interview and sell yourself. The interview is where you're selling yourself. And when you get in that interview, when you're interviewing for a company, look up the company, see what they're doing, okay? Don't just go in and be like, oh, you know, don't have them, you interviewing them too. Because you have to make sure, you have to understand that you are valuable too. Oh, y'all need me just as well as I need you. Don't get it twisted, okay? So you need to make sure that, hey, let me see what y'all talking about. You know, is there any room for growth? Like, what is the management like up in this piece? I need to know, okay? Or do I need to stay where I'm at? So that's kind of, you need to be confident. They can smell that. They can smell if you're not really confident, if you're stumbling over techniques that you've done and all of that. Like, you need to study. Same way I'm sitting in front of this camera, you need to sit in front of a camera, a wall, a friend, whoever, and kind of go over the interview. And then when you get in the interview, you know, look what they've done, bring up stuff they've done, know what type of work they're working on. If it's a technique that you're not really used to, look up that technique, but do not act like you know how to do that technique, because they'll know. Especially if it's a specialized business or specialized science. Don't go in there talking about, you know, like for me, going in there talking about, you know, ion channel from the back of your hand and these electrophysiologists. They'll shame you. They ask you something real quick about what you've been working on, you don't know what the hell going on. Okay, it ain't ion channel from cell biology, you know, it's in depth, okay? So don't do that. But at least have an idea. Oh, okay, I know that you guys work on ion channels, you know, I know that you work with such and such and such and such. So basically that's kind of how you want to do it. Yeah, so I think that covers pretty much everything. Basically, the main takeaway is basically you're building up your resume. And that's, you're starting that from the time you're in undergrad to the time you get in the interview. Every experience is worth it. So even when I worked in other jobs that was outside of the actual lab, but it was still scientific, that still helped me, okay? Because it was a company I was working for where I was a patient case coordinator, and I was working for a pharma company doing their adverse events. But it still helped me because that company was a company that we actually partnered with, right? And then it also helps that I know the back end of post-approval drugs that's on the market. Right now I work in preclinical trials. My job before it was post-clinical, right? It's after market approval. So basically it all told a story. So I was considered like well-rounded. Yeah, so I hope that this video helped someone. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. I will be keeping you guys updated on my journey on transitioning out of the lab and into the clinical research admin work, which is what my master's is in, clinical research administration. So that's basically monitoring clinical trials, being a clinical research associate, being a project manager, things of that sort. So basically working from home and making a lot of money. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment section below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.